You keep saying you're confused, that you don't know what to do, that you're still figuring things out. But let me tell you something raw. Most of the time, confusion is a convenient lie, a beautifully wrapped excuse to avoid the terrifying responsibility of choosing. Because once you choose, the illusion dies. The illusion that you have infinite time, the illusion that you're not ready yet, the illusion that you're just one book, one course, one sign away from clarity. If you enjoy videos like this, remember to click the like and subscribe button. I'm not saying you're lazy, I'm saying you're scared, because when you choose, you commit. And when you commit, you risk. And when you risk, you might fail. And God forbid, you actually succeed, because then there's no more hiding behind potential, no more safety net of, I could have been. Now it's just you exposed. You ever notice how people cling to confusion like a shield? They wear it like armor. I don't know what I want, they say, while every cell in their body knows what they don't want. That job, that relationship, that version of themselves. But they stay anyway, because clarity demands sacrifice. Carl Jung wrote that people will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own soul. And confusion, it's the perfect cover. It keeps you safe, passive, comfortable in discomfort. And worst of all, it keeps you waiting. But here's the hard truth. You are not lost. You are avoiding the path that scares you. You are postponing the version of you that demands action. You are sedating your soul with I don't know, because it's less painful than saying, I'm afraid. Stop calling fear confusion. You already know what needs to change. Now the question is, are you willing to pay the price of becoming someone new? You call it research. You call it preparation. You call it just making sure. But let's be honest, it's overthinking. It's self-sabotage dressed up as responsibility. And it's killing your momentum, one fake checklist at a time. There's a moment when thinking stops being useful and becomes a drug. It numbs you. It gives you the illusion of progress while keeping you frozen in place. You scroll, you read, you highlight books you'll never apply. You jump from podcast to podcast, searching for that one breakthrough sentence that will finally unlock your life. But here's the problem. Insight without action is just spiritual entertainment. Carl Jung said, people will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own soul. Overthinking is one of the most polished ways to do that. It feels productive. It feels intelligent. But it's a trap. You're building mental castles you'll never live in. And deep down, you know this. You feel it at night when your brain is exhausted, but nothing has changed. You feel it in your body, that tightness in your chest, that restless energy that comes from being full of ideas but starved of direction. Let me be clear. Clarity is not born from thinking. It's born from movement. You don't figure it all out and then act. You act, and the act reveals the next step. But most people are addicted to just one more thing, one more book, one more opinion, one more reason not to leap. Enough. You are not lacking information. You are avoiding the responsibility of starting with what you already know. Thinking has become your hiding place, your way of staying safe in the shallow end. But growth doesn't live there. So next time your brain says, let's think about this some more, ask yourself, am I planning or postponing? Let's tell the truth no one wants to hear. Your indecision isn't confusion, it's fear. Every maybe you've said in the past year was just a soft way of saying, I'm scared. Scared of choosing wrong, scared of disappointing someone, scared of stepping into something you can't undo. So you hover in the in-between, not yes, not no, just maybe. And it's killing your soul slowly. There's this guy I knew, Daniel, smart, capable, full of ideas, but stuck. He hated his job, knew it drained him. Every week he said, I'm thinking of quitting. For 2 years, he'd make pros and cons lists. He'd run through endless scenarios in his head, and every time he got close to choosing, he'd say, I don't know, maybe it's not the right time. Translation, I'm terrified of what happens after I leap, because here's what no one tells you. Certainty is a myth. There is no perfect moment. There is no choice without loss. Every decision slices reality into two, the life you choose and the one you bury. Carl Jung talked about the shadow, that unconscious part of you where you store the rejected, abandoned pieces of your psyche. And indecision feeds the shadow. Every time you avoid choosing, you throw another version of yourself into that dark attic. The courageous you, the decisive you, the bold one who acts. You become a museum of unrealized potential. But here's the twist. The longer you delay, the heavier your maybe becomes. It turns into resentment. It turns into regret. It turns into self-loathing disguised as confusion. So ask yourself, what are you pretending not to know? What would you choose if fear wasn't sitting in the room with you? Because here's the raw truth. You don't need more time. You need more courage. Every day you wait, someone you could have been dies. That version of you, focused, fearless, aligned, you bury them a little deeper every time you say later. But here's the twist most people miss. Delay doesn't feel like destruction. It feels like safety, like breathing room, like logic, like I'm just waiting for the right moment. But underneath all that rationalization is one brutal truth. You are betraying yourself. Quietly. Carl Jung said that the most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. And that's why you hesitate. Because choosing means facing what you actually want. And facing what you want means acknowledging everything you've avoided. It means grieving the time you've wasted. It means finally stepping out of the character you've been performing. The nice one, the smart one, the potential-filled one. And becoming real. Do you know what that costs? Ego. Comfort. People who liked the version of you that never made waves. But do you know what staying still costs? Your soul, your mental peace, your nights filled with what-ifs, and your mornings soaked in guilt. There's a shadow that haunts people who don't act, the unlived life. It follows you, in quiet envy when you see someone doing what you wish you had the guts to do, in passive aggression towards those who move forward, in the ache behind your smile when you say, I'm fine, but you're not. You're just safe, and safe is where dreams go to suffocate. So, here's your mirror. What has your delay already cost you? And how much more are you willing to pay? You don't run out of time all at once. You lose it in invisible pieces. One hesitation at a time. One not now at a time. And by the time you're ready, you might not recognize yourself anymore. Choosing isn't just a decision. It's a declaration of war. War against the parts of you that want to stay comfortable. War against the projections others placed on you. War against a world that profits from your hesitation. The moment you choose, really choose, you disrupt the system. Because now, you're not following the script. You're not asking for permission. You're not keeping the peace just to be liked. And that makes people uncomfortable. The version of you that knew their place, smiled politely, nodded at every suggestion. That version was convenient, predictable, controllable. But the moment you say, no, this is what I want, you stop being a background character in someone else's story. You start writing your own lines. Carl Jung said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. But he never said it was comfortable. Individuation, that path of becoming whole, isn't calm. It's a collapse, a shedding. You don't become your true self through peace. You become it by setting fire to everything false. And that's what a real choice does. It burns the bridge back to who you were pretending to be. It exposes the weak structures you built to stay accepted. It pisses off the people who liked you small, but let them be angry. Let them talk. Let them call you arrogant, distant, selfish. That's just their fear speaking, because your boldness reminds them of their own cages. You think choosing is about clarity. It's not. It's about commitment. You're never going to feel 100% ready, but you can decide that staying in limbo is no longer an option. You don't need more advice. You need a sword, a boundary, a spine. Because every time you choose yourself, you declare that your life will no longer be a negotiation. And then comes the silence. Not the anxious silence of avoidance, but the sacred silence that follows a real choice. It feels empty at first, like you've lost something. And you have. You've lost the illusion of being undecided. You've lost the safety of sitting on the fence. You've lost the need to please everyone. But in that loss, you start to hear yourself again. There's a strange stillness that shows up when you finally commit, a calm you didn't expect, because all the noise that lived in your head, the doubts, the what-ifs, the internal debates, goes quiet. Why? Because there's nothing left to argue with. You've chosen. Carl Jung knew that rebirth isn't a light show. It's a quiet return to self. It's the moment you stop searching for signs and start walking your own path, even when no one claps, even when no one understands. And yes, you will lose people. You'll lose those who fed off your indecision, those who felt superior when you stayed stuck, those who only knew how to love you when you were unsure of yourself. But what you gain is you, the you who acts, the you who protects your peace like it's sacred, the you who doesn't explain every move just to be accepted. And here's the paradox. The more unavailable you become to nonsense, the more magnetic you become to truth. Because when you finally choose yourself, not the curated version, not the obedient one, but the whole damn self, you become someone even silence can't ignore. So if you've made it this far, it means something in you is already shifting, already tired of waiting, already ready to cut the rope and walk. So here's the only question left. What would your life look like if you finally stopped apologizing for choosing it? If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to click the like and subscribe button.